Hi, Dave Taylor here again, and this time I'm hanging out with a robot. How's that for cool? Now, is this robot talking to me? No, not so much. It's this guy. What is this? Well, you might recognize it from the brushes. This is not a Roomba, but it's a similar sort of vacuuming robot. And a company called Ecovacs Robotic sent this to us to try out, and we've been having some fun over the last week or two with the Deebot D79. Now, this is a pretty fancy little robo vacuum cleaner because in addition to all the controls on the front and everything, really, these are all about their sensors and their suction. So this thing actually has some really cool, slick designs. For example, as you can see in this little clip, it actually, when it goes back to its base, it automatically has a vacuum in the base that pulls the dirt and dust out of the robot. That's pretty slick. From what I understand, a lot of them, you end up having to manually empty them. That's kind of lame. It also has these dual side sweeper brushes. You see that here. And that's very nice. As you can see in this clip, it does actually tend to go along the edges, and it really wants to, it's earnest. It's an earnest vacuum cleaner that really wants to go and do a good job. So we have it just running all over the place, and you know, mostly what you can see is it's a heck of a cat toy. Now, my cats love this thing. They are really obsessed. Every time it comes on, it's like at their height, it's their size, so they are very, very attentive. And they've gotten a little more confident over time too. So at times, the younger of the two cats in particular will just lay there and just bat at it when this thing's coming at it. Which is quite entertaining. But more seriously, one of the other interesting things is the Deebot comes with a remote control. So when you're ready to get started, you just push the auto button, and it seems to me like you have to push it a half dozen times before it notices. I guess it's sort of a slacker robot that is sitting there going, I don't have to vacuum, I'm just chilling out, thinking about robot things. And eventually, once it gets started, then it goes really well, and it works on hardwood floors, tile floors, carpet, all that sort of stuff. Then there's another button that is the home button. And you can actually manually control it. There's a lot more you can do, but those are the two buttons that we use the most here. And it's pretty slick. It doesn't fall downstairs or anything, although I suppose if it did, it would be okay. It would just lay there at the bottom saying, It does occasionally get caught up though. In particular, it has a really hard time with the base of our cat climbing system. Now, this might be some sort of secret antipathy between robots and cats, but it just tends to get stuck on that little shelf. And then a human actually has to come and intervene by picking it up and putting it back down. Otherwise, one of the things you find with a robot vacuum cleaner is all the wires that you have laying around, all the shoelaces from shoes, all the electrical wires, all of that stuff ends up being, you know, valid targets. So this thing's constantly sucking things up and pulling cords around the house and stuff, which we then have to go and deal with. Kind of a hassle. I should say that this is a pretty expensive unit, but it does come with lots of attachments, and the base unit, if you saw, has sort of a big canister. You can use that separately to actually do some separate, like, you know, ceiling vacuuming. Obviously, this thing's not going to do really well on the ceiling. So they really have a full vacuum system, but honestly, I think that for the vast majority of people, they're going to get the Deebot and they're going to say, go, and then walk away and see what happens. Now, it comes with 4 cleaning modes, and it actually changes what mode it's in based on how much dust it detects. So basically, in my house, with, you know, kids and cats and the chaos of my life, it's always on high. Now, let's be fair. It doesn't do that great a job, and this is kind of a drag, and I've put it on different modes, and the factory sent me the turbo mode instructions and stuff, and it's okay. I mean, it doesn't actually, I don't know how to describe it. It's like it vacuums, it's like an 80% job. It's probably equivalent to having one of my kids do the vacuuming. But versus something like a really high-end vacuum cleaner that you're pushing around, it doesn't do that good a job. So here's the reality, is that it's a really nice addition to your household, but I don't know that I would want to have it be the only vacuum in my house. On the other hand, if you can afford its pretty hefty price tag, it's $699 suggested retail. If that's no big deal to you, then this really is pretty fun, and you can program it to, at 3 in the morning every night, get out of its little base and go and zoom around and vacuum up all the dust and all the particulate matter in your kitchen or in your bedroom, whatever. I don't know that I'd want to have it turning on at 3 in the morning in my bedroom. Maybe I'd revise that schedule. But it really is kind of nice to start automating some of the tools and some of the tasks of keeping a household running. However, like I said, there's still evolutionary steps that need to come. And I think the reality is a lot of it is just size. It's a small unit to have a really large suction engine in it, and to still also be able to have a container that could hold the dirt. So that might be reality. On a single charge, and it's obviously rechargeable, on a single charge it runs over 2 hours. We've let it just sort of roam around, and it does seem eventually that it does full coverage, but there's also some software challenges too, I think, and that's true of all of these. Not the least of which is that as soon as they map out that sort of 3D world of your house, you move things around. So that chair that was pushed in is now pulled out. The toys that were on the floor are no longer on the floor. I suspect this thing would absolutely adore Lego. That might be something you'd need to consider. But all in all, the Deebot D79 from Ecovacs Robotics at ecovacrobotics.com is pretty cool. It's a pretty fun device. If you have the ability to afford its $699 price tag, it could actually be a really fun addition to your house, and it definitely will keep things like your kitchen or bedroom much cleaner. So, this is Dave Taylor, and my robot bud and I, we're gonna go off and have a talk about vacuuming? I don't know, whatever. And I'll catch you in the next video.